So begins another very, very frustrating experience with more Apple products. So the iPhoto library is gone. I nuked it. It's completely gone. Photos is done. Photos works really well. It's really fast and seemingly everything's there. So what I'm trying to do now is remove every photo from my iPhone, previously synced with the iPhoto library, get rid of everything, and then sync over what is from the Photos app. So we're switching libraries, switching the library that we're syncing from iPhoto to Photos. Intro. So that shouldn't be too difficult, right? We go into the iPhone, we go into iTunes, and I'm going to hide my phone number there. For some reason that shows up. When we come over here, we go to the Photos tab, and then we would click uncheck that. Uncheck the sync photos box, and then we want to remove photos, and we'll go to apply, and then we're going to restart the sync and let it go through that. So I've done this once before and it took about a half an hour. It gave me the same prompt. Before it said copy photos from iPhoto, which is now gone, so that was grayed out. Once I deselected it, it was no longer an option. We can skip the backup here for time's sake. Here's the issue though. So I've already removed all the photos. And we can see when I open the Photos app on the iPhone, I've got 7,000 places, 197 selfies, 21 panoramas. If I go down here to Photos, we'll go back to Collections, we'll go back to Years. There are about 22,000 photos on here still, dating all the way back to 2002. Every photo is still here in its entirety. Full resolution, everything, location data, date and time, it's all still here. So if I go to select, let's just choose that one. The trash can icon is grayed out. It's not an option to delete that photo. Same thing if I select more, same thing if I select a different one. It will not let me remove the photos that are on here. We'll go back to albums, we'll go into panoramas, we'll try to select one of these panoramas. The trash can icon is grayed out. It will not let me remove any photos that are on this phone. If I go into settings and we go into general and iPhone storage, it'll take a moment to populate this data. Then I keep getting this error on the Mac. iPhone 7 cannot be synced, unknown error occurred, -50. So we just have to click OK and then go back to resync. Again, not syncing any photos. Still waiting on this to populate. And here we go. See that yellow? There's a shit ton of photos still on here, and if I come down here, photos, there we are, 16.8 gigabytes. If I try to open that, the whole thing freezes, but in about 30 seconds it'll load, and I'll be patient and show you. And here we are, Photos version 100 Apple Link, 16.8 gigabytes. iPhoto library, or the iCloud photo library is disabled. Synced from iTunes, 16.8 gigs. It's removed them. I do not understand why they're still here. It deleted all the albums. I had them organized into albums. The albums are gone, but they're still under the Photos tab. So for some reason, there's just a complete lack of communication. Even though they are physically plugged in right now, it cannot delete the photos. So what does that mean? Do I need to set this phone up as new to delete photos? I really don't understand why this is so difficult and why this is such a problem. I feel like something in this system is so corrupt and screwed up at a deep level. There's no communication and it doesn't work. And I don't have time. I cannot rebuild this Mac. That's 410 gigs of content that I would have to put back over. Stuff like the Photos library would be easy. I just rebuilt that. It's in one file called photos.library or something. I could move that fairly easily. But every single one of these applications, half of them are activated. You know, you have to go through and have a code like Word. I had to buy them the Microsoft Office Suite, Office 365, Photoshop, Final Cut, the iTunes library. I feel like that's so screwed up, but how do I rebuild it? So I have all these playlists. I organize music in playlists. So what if I just copied each playlist into a folder? So I take my Beatles and put them in a Beatles folder, and my jazz and put it in a jazz folder. And I tried this already actually, and I totally nuked iTunes. I uninstalled it, deleted the library, opened it up, and it was like, welcome to iTunes. I had to reinstall it, download it from the website. It's not in the App Store. Treating me as a new customer, you know, welcome to iTunes. And I get in there and go and create a new playlist and drag everything in. But then the problem is it says date added today, you know, because I'm setting up a new library and everything's added today. I organize my libraries on date added. I want the song that I bought yesterday at the top. I want the song that I added the day that I first switched to the Mac in January 2010 all the way at the bottom. So that totally screws up my library, and then I have no way of sorting them and playing my recent songs at the top of the playlist. So that's not really usable. Sorry, Jeff, I'm denying your call right now. I'll call you back shortly. I'm in the middle of this. So, you know, it says waiting for items to copy. It says artwork. I left it here for about an hour, and it just sits there, syncing artwork and the little spinny thing up here. I don't get it. It doesn't work. It's totally screwed up. So what do you guys think I should do? Should I wipe this phone, reset all content and settings, set it up as a new phone, and then maybe it'll try to sync everything over? I would be able to get most of my stuff from iCloud, but then I still have to reinstall every application, sync music, sync photos, log into every application. It would be extraordinarily painful to do that, but it would be possible. So let me know what you think. What's broken? Why doesn't it work? Really, it comes down to three things. Is the phone just totally screwed up? Is iTunes totally screwed up? And or is OS X totally screwed up? Let me know. So after I talked to you, I went out and I mowed 2 lawns across the street. I was really tired and really hungry by the time I came back in. Ended up walking 5.5 miles. I had dinner, I sat down, got on the computer, and I went back to work. So I figured out you can download a file browser that kind of turns an iPhone into a flash drive. Then you can browse the iPhone, find a photo called photo data that was huge. I deleted it. It took forever to delete, rebooted the phone. It took forever. The Photos app didn't want to launch, but it did. And when it did, everything was gone. So I had to manually go into the file system of the iPhone and remove the content. Once I did that, then I found another application that resets a whole bunch of preferences or something in iTunes, and it looked very scammy. I was nervous to download it, but I thought, what the hell, it's already screwed up. So I tried it, and I don't know if it worked or not, but I think it helped. It does complete about every other sync now. So I was able to get the majority of the content that I want on my phone, and I use the word majority, not all of it. So I picked like an album. I have an album for, you know, the M5. And it's got 2,669 photos or something in the photos library. I sync it, and 2,573 photos make it. But 95% consistently of every album I synced. And I have the include videos box checking. I'm not just missing videos. The videos are all making it. There's just some photos, and it doesn't even give me an error message. Some photos make it, some don't, randomly. I took a picture of this car next to an E36 M3 the other day. It's at the top. The most recent added in photos, I sync it, it's not there. Who knows where it went or what happened to it. Hopefully, if I'm fortunate enough to be able to get my hands on an iPhone 10 when it comes out, being a fresh phone, I'll plug it in and it will work. If it doesn't, I need to rebuild OS X from the ground up, which is a multi-week project. But that's where it stands. I got most of the stuff on there. It seems a little faster, the Photos app, ever since I totally wiped the cache and started over. Anyways, that was the afternoon. Watch the Cavaliers' first game against Boston Celtics. If you want to see a horrendous injury, I'm not making light of it. It's a bad one. It's one of the worst I think I've seen in any kind of NBA history, and I've kind of looked into that. Boston side of things, Gordon Hayward, big name they brought over to play with Isaiah Thomas, and now Kyrie Irving. Went down in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it's a nasty break. Nobody likes to see somebody else's hopes and dreams get crushed, at least for the foreseeable future, for several months or a year, or maybe even more while he recovers. That's not good. That's not good for the game. That's not good for anybody, and it was evident. Everybody on the floor at that time was just, you know, in shock. Anyways, on that sobering note, I'm gonna call it an early night. I just came out here and did a little bit of work. Got the wheels cleaned up again, and exhaust and the floor mat, so now it's all clean, ready to sit till it goes in for the fuel work on Thursday. Tomorrow we got a little bit of a road trip somewhere that for some reason in the 7 years been into this, we've never gone. So stay tuned, it's gonna be a fun one tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Good night.